Hey y'all, how you doing? I am Joy. This is our NFL Pick'ems podcast, as always, joined once again, per the usual, by Steve.
Hey Joy, how's it going?
It is going now that we've been here for a half hour and finally doing things. It's going well.
True.
I'm
True.
hoping that I fixed my audio from the last episode. If you guys caught it, I was kind of peaking a little bit. I'm sorry. I tried to mitigate it as much as I could, but hopefully everything's
Well,
fine now.
I'm sure it's all good there. It's nice to get away from all the negative stuff in the world there and focus on something positive for once.
Yeah, indeed. Recent events have been not so positive, but we always have the NFL that we can rely on to get our anxiety higher than it should be and have some fun with it while we are.
Exactly.
So, first things first, let's go ahead and take a look at our stats from last week and see where we all stand. In first place, we have Draz with 88.50. I am in second with 87.51. SDS fell again, and he is 85.53. Biggers moved up in the standings, and he is 84.54. John has 83.55. Buff is all alone at 81.57. Papa Agron and Savage Owl are 79.59. Steve here is 78.60, followed by Rev at 77.61, and Troll living his best life at 56.82.
Okay.
So, with the stats done, now we can go ahead and recap week 9. Steve and I again have conferred ahead of time, and we've decided that the Chiefs and Bucs game is going to be the game of the week for us.
Absolutely. It's amazing there. Patrick Holmes played the entire second half of the game there with sore ankle there, and he still won the game in overtime.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that kind of feels like the Mahomes way lately. He's kind of always been the one who, even if he gets dinged up a little bit, he wants to be on the field. I distinctly remember Andy Reid pulling him off and trying to, sit him down and make sure that he doesn't go back out there. And he snuck in behind him with his hood up, trying to, still be involved when he was supposed to be in the locker room getting looked at. So he's just, you can love him or hate him, but he is a consummate player. He will always want to be on the field.
Professional.
Yeah, he's a consummate professional, one heck of a player. He always wants to be there. I don't really understand all the hate. I think success breeds hate. And I personally kind of like the guy. I think that he's good at what he does. And there's going to be a lot of hate for it. That being said, the referees were definitely an issue once again, per the usual. And the big key here is when it was in overtime and they were on the goal line, there was once again a false start by offensive tackle Taylor on the Chiefs, who routinely gets off a little early, and they almost never call that. So he really has an issue with false starting, and I'm hoping that he can kind of settle that down a little bit, because eventually they're going to stop not calling that. But had they called that, that would have moved them back 5 yards. I don't think that really would have changed the result of the game any, in my opinion, but that being said, that was something that happened.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then we have our shock of the week. Do you and I have the same one?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we have the Saints losing to Carolina and thus firing their coach mid-season, a la what the Jets did. And this honestly makes me wonder whether Black Monday even exists. Because
hard to say.
yeah, in recent years, we've been having coaches get fired mid-season. With Saleh, it was week 5. With Dennis Allen, it was week 9. So, what's the point of having the typical Black Monday if you can just lose your job before the season is even over?
Yeah. to me, it's like what they do in hockey. There, if the coach couldn't bring the team into huge winning streaks there early in the season, they end up getting fired there because it happened last year to the Edmonton Oilers there with their coach, and they fired him early in the season there, and when the new coach came in, he led them all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. Unfortunately, they lost to the Florida Panthers.
Well, that is very impressive for the new coach that took over. It kind of then would kind of remind me a little bit of Antonio Pierce then from last year, who took over a not so great Raiders team and actually led them into doing fairly well, which netted him the full-time coaching job, and then it just hasn't really worked out very well, which is really kind of sad. But I don't know. Personally, for me, I think unless you are 0-9, 0-10, if you're a Rod Marinelli status of head coach, then I can kind of understand firing. But I'm also somebody who likes commitment. You made a commitment to this coach. You have to at least see the year through, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm weird like that, but I would have rather seen him finish the season and then we have, Black Monday happen. That's kind of the way it's been for me. But that being said, now we can head on over to regret of the week. Mine, personally, I will go ahead and go first on it, is trusting the Browns to have actually turned the corner after losing Watson and having Chubb return. Mm-hmm. I think I kind of got baited a little bit when they beat the Ravens the way that they did. I think I fell for the trap, and I shouldn't have. In all honesty, I believe I should have trusted in the Chargers more. But that's just me, personally. I fell for the trap. I should know better. So what was your regret, or was it the same?
My regret there would be trusting the Green Bay Packers at home to beat the Lions there, which unfortunately was a huge mistake there.
Yeah, look, honestly, I get you. I completely understand why you took Green Bay, because I was concerned, and rightfully so, because honestly, the refs tried. They tried everything they could. They ejected Brian Branch for, I'm not going to say nothing, because he did kind of go at the receiver fairly hard, but that was not an ejectable hit. He didn't lead with the crown of his helmet. It wasn't helmet to helmet, and they ejected him anyway, so the referees tried to handcuff Detroit. But what did Detroit do after Brian Branch got ejected? Kirby Joseph pops up with another pick six against Green Bay to help kind of solidify that game. And Aaron Glenn has done amazing things with that defense, considering what he's got to work with. And so, good teams find a way to rise above adversity that you are presented, be it from field conditions to injuries to suspensions to the referees to anything that happens. Good teams find a way to overcome that. And so I'm very pleased. However, what I am not pleased with are the Seattle Seahawks, who are Steve and I's disappointment of the week.
I mean, they came out strong the first half there, not only scoring there, but on top of that, the Rams there, Puka Nacua got ejected for throwing a punch there, and
yeah,
I figured it'd be smooth sailing there, but unfortunately, they dropped the ball in the second half there and lost in overtime.
Quite literally. I don't know what had happened with their offense, but they failed so spectacularly on the offensive side of things that it was honestly impressive. For me, it was in particular the decision to go for it on fourth down in the red zone during overtime.
Yeah.
When your defense was playing well, why wouldn't you take the points? It's a lesson in taking the points. And I remember me and I believe it was Collinsworth. No, it wasn't Collinsworth. It was Jonathan Vilma.
Mm-hmm.
We had words when he was doing commentary because he was talking about like, well, I really respect that decision. I think I would have gone for it too, because even if you don't get it, you're going to be forcing the Rams to, traverse the entire length of the field in order to score. And I'm like, but they have Matthew Stafford, right? Like, comebacks are kind of his thing. It's what he does. So giving him the ball back when all they would have needed was like 35, 40 yards to be within field goal range, and then they can just win.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really stupid decision, and I question that heavily.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was incredibly fast. For a recap, we did very, very well. So now we can head on over to week 10, and I believe that you have the 4 teams that are on the bye for this week.
Yes, I do. Thank you, Joy. This week, the 4 teams that are on the bye are the Cleveland Browns, obviously losing to the Chargers there.
Mm-hmm.
The Packers, obviously coming off of their big loss to the Lions. The Raiders there, obviously they lost so bad that they fired their entire offensive coordinating team. And of course, as we discussed earlier, our disappointment of the week there, the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, I will say I think that of these teams, the Packers are the ones that benefit the most from this bye, because now Jordan Love can finally rest his growing a little bit better and hopefully be a little bit more spry in week 11. So we shall see.
Yeah.
All right, so now we are ready to head into Thursday Night Football with the Bengals going to the Ravens in another AFC North showdown.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun game Thursday night. First of all, I want to apologize to Beegers last week for not remembering Lamar Jackson's name there. I hope you can forget me, bud.
Yeah, it was so funny though, like getting his comment and knowing Beegers the way I do and how he interacts with his friends and like the snide snarkiness that he and I both kind of have. It made me laugh, and then when I got your message about how you were wondering if he was actually mad at you, I was like, oh no. Alright, so I talked to the both of them, squared it all away. Everything's good. They both felt bad, and now everything's good. So,
Okay.
Yep, we're square.
Yeah. Okay. Glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Now back to the games there. This is going to be a real quarterback battle with Burrow and Lamar Jackson there. But the key X factor is how will Derrick Henry do at home this week?
That is always the key question, and I am not going to say a word about his play considering what happened the last time I did. So instead, I am just going to look back because I'm pretty sure they faced already, right?
Probably, yeah.
Yep, Baltimore and Cincinnati in week 5 was 41-38 in overtime. Ravens win.
Yeah.
And that was in Cincinnati. I remember that game because I was like, Evan McPherson's got this, and then he misses. It was one of the greatest jinxing moments in real time I have ever had.
Exactly.
That was great. So now that we're heading into Baltimore, we kind of flip it a little bit. Do you see them winning again and sweeping Cincinnati, or do you see a split?
I see Baltimore win this week, but I'm going to go with my specialty, the 3-point or less rule, and thanks to Justin Tucker's field goal, I'd say the Ravens will beat the Bengals.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's going to also be close. I wouldn't be surprised if we go into overtime again, to be fair. What would be really funny is if we go into overtime and Justin Tucker is the one who misses this time, which would give Cincinnati the chance to actually go down there and win off of an Evan McPherson go-ahead field goal. Like, just completely flip the script. I think that would be honestly hilarious. I think that'd be funny, but I don't really see that happening. I'm gonna also agree with you and take the Ravens.
Okay.
Okay, next up then we have just a great game. This is going to be so, so fun to watch. We have the Giants and the Panthers.
Yeah, obviously this game is in Frankfurt, Germany there, Sunday morning.
Oh, okay. Let me go ahead and write down Germany in the corner. Normally I do this like with the London game and stuff, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, now it's Frankfurt's turn there. Obviously, it's the battle of two real weak teams there.
Very.
Obviously, Carolina coming up. It's crappy win there against the Saints there, as we discussed.
Yeah.
And the Giants coming off their huge loss to the Commanders.
Yeah, although I will say that the Giants game was a lot closer than I was expecting.
Yeah.
They only lost by 5. I was totally expecting them to get blown out, and then they didn't. So that was kind of cool. I will say though, how funny would it be if Carolina in back-to-back weeks causes the team that they beat to fire their coach? How funny would that be?
True. Yeah. But obviously the owners gave the Giants coach their vote of confidence there.
They have so far, but if they get embarrassed by Carolina, I don't know if that vote of confidence is going to last.
Yeah.
So it would be really funny. I'm just saying.
How long the fans demand that you get fired there?
Yeah, exactly. Now, I do think that the Giants do have potential. They have a few things that they need to shore up and a few pieces that they need to grab. But they have some decent potential. Now, it could just be the benefit of being in a fairly weak division, similar to like Atlanta down in the South, who has really great potential going forward because of the teams that they have to play. But, I kind of like the future that I'm seeing out of the Giants. I'm just kind of reserved at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So that being said, for me, I am going to go ahead and trust the Giants. Giants in Germany. Boom. Alliteration. I love it.
Okay, we have our first pick because I'm going with a little bit of a risky pick there. I'm going to go with the Panthers to beat the Giants there. In my specialty, the 3-point or less rule.
All right, let me go ahead and write down Giants and Panthers in our splits game tally because, good lord, I did not expect to have a split this soon.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and make that 2 in a row when we come stateside because now we have the Patriots going to Chicago.
Yeah.
I think we know how this is going to go.
I don't know what's happened with the Bears lately since they lost confidence ever since losing that game against the Commanders there on the last second Hail Mary there.
Yeah, they really did. Now let me go ahead and look back a little bit here. So that was in week 8, right?
Yep.
Yes. So then they had a week 7 bye. And then in week 6, what did they do in week 6? They beat Jacksonville in London.
Mm-hmm.
So you're right. It's like right after the bye week, they kind of got destroyed. So I think that the Hail Mary was more demoralizing than we gave it credit for. I know it definitely demoralized me. I was on the floor, losing my mind because they let this kind of thing happen. But it was truly crushing for the Bears, which, I mean, I'm not mad that the Bears got their hearts crushed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not mad at that. And to be fair, I kind of hope it happens again.
Oh, wow. But the question is, how's Drake May's health there because of his concussion there?
That is a very good question, and it is a good thing that I have my sleeper app up because I can go ahead and take a quick peek at Drake May. Let's see. Brings new life to the New England offense, can provide fantasy value. That's not telling me anything about his health, though.
Yeah.
How is the kid? because I'm not
Yeah.
seeing where he's hurt like at all in this
Sure.
report. So he should be fine, I would assume.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they took him. They took Tennessee into overtime, and only ended up losing that by 3. Also, kudos to Tennessee for breaking the Lions' curse. I'm proud of you. I should have gone with you to do so, but I did not.
True. For me, there, I'm going to trust the Bears one more time. There, if they get it wrong, I swear I'm done with them.
So if let's go on record. If they lose to New England, you're done. You are not believing in the Bears anymore.
Yeah, stick a fork and then they're done.
To be fair, that'd be a very good time to do it because in week 11 they face Green Bay, and then in week 12 they face Minnesota. So 2 back-to-back rivalry games that are going to be very tough for them. So this is even more motivation. I'm trusting spite. I'm taking New England. I shouldn't.
Oh,
I shouldn't. I
we got
know.
our second split of the week.
We do. I know this is about to be an L. I know it. But I'm going to be truthful to myself and frick the Bears with all of my heart. And I'm going to trust that New England can kind of surprise some people.
Okay.
They've been surprising before. I think they can do it again.
Okay.
Alright, next game we have the Bills and the Colts, who I assume are still going to be starting Flacco. I don't entirely know. Good.
That's what they said. They're sticking with him for the rest of the season, apparently, unless, of course, Flacco gets injured, and then they're going back to you know who.
Yeah, Richardson. Yep, he was indeed remaining under center for week 10. Now, if he does struggle again, then maybe they'll flip back over, but I'm assuming they're going to stick with him for the long haul, like you were saying. So, I don't know what happened last week, though. Like, I fully expected them to be so much better under Flacco, and they lost by 8, 21-13. So, I don't know.
Yeah. And obviously, they're the Bills are way too strong of a team, even though Amari Cooper's a little banged up right now. That's the thing.
Yeah, I do vaguely remember him being banged up a bit. Let me take a look at my team real quick and see. He's currently listed as questionable. But for that matter, so is Michael Pittman on the Colts side. So they're both going to be down a receiver.
Sure.
Now, I do think that the Colts have the better run game. I think that Jonathan Taylor's probably a little bit better than James Cook. But I also think that Josh Allen plus James Cook plus their defense should be a lock. But I also wouldn't be surprised if we have an upset here. Because the Bills did let Miami hang around.
True. But for me there this week, I'm going to go with the Bills on the road to beat Father Flacco and the Colts.
Yeah, unfortunately for Father Flacco, I am in agreement with you, and I am taking Buffalo. That was fairly easy. Now, next one, I'm on upset watch. And I don't know how to feel about it. We have your Denver Broncos going to division rival Chiefs, who they have swept and beaten in the past.
True. The question is, will the real Bo Nix show up, or will it just be an afterthought there to Patrick Mahomes?
I love the so close to being Slim Shady reference. Will the real Bo Nix please stand up? I love that.
Yeah.
I tend to agree with you though, because I was so high on the kid for a little while. You know, he was starting to show his wares, and I was here for it. And then I don't know what happened. Everything just kind of fell out. They lost 41-10 to Baltimore. True. It was, now, to be fair, that made sense. It was Baltimore, a very, very strong team. The week prior, they ended up beating Carolina, but it was just Carolina, so meh. Like, you can't really put too much stock in that. And then, of course, they did also destroy the Saints, but again, the Saints aren't exactly super competitive this year. So they've beaten two meh teams from, ironically enough, the NFC South. So, I don't know. I think this is going to be a really, really hard challenge. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs fall, because, again, I mean, they have to fall eventually. They're 9-0, right? So they have to lose eventually, one would think.
Yeah.
And it would make sense if they lost to Denver.
Yeah, but their time will come, but unfortunately it won't be this week. It'll be sometime within a couple of weeks. They'll suffer their first L there. So I'm going with the Chiefs at home to beat the Broncos.
Yeah, I agree. And actually, I think you might be onto something, because week 11 for Kansas City is going to Buffalo. That is the best chance that they have to lose, because week 12, Kansas City goes to Carolina. Now, would it be funny if their first loss came to Carolina? Absolutely. But if they can get past Buffalo, I think the haters are in for a rough time. So I'm in agreement.
That is something we'll have to discuss in next week's episode.
Yeah, exactly. I was just, I like to kind of look ahead a little bit and kind of like see their path, because, they're a team that I'm like pseudo interested in a little bit, just because I like what they're doing from a whole team perspective, and so I'm kind of interested in them. But yeah, I'm in agreement. I'm 100% going with the Chiefs, but I also would not be surprised if they fall, because division rivals be like that. Speaking of divisions being crazy, we have the Falcons and the Saints, who are now, as we talked about earlier, without their head coach, Dennis Allen. So, will that change some things, or do you think it's going to be more status quo?
It depends. They're obviously with the Saints. They need healthy bodies back. They need Derek Carr back, and obviously Alvin Kamara at 100% there.
Yeah, as far as I know, they are fairly healthy. Kamara practiced today, and then on Derek Carr, he's going to remain the starter for Week 10. The problem is going to be their wide receiver room. When did they get Valdez-Scantling? I'll be darned. Yeah, so Marquez Valdez-Scantling made his debut last week for the Saints.
Wow.
Who knew? I had no idea that he went there. They had to do something, though. Yeah, because Chris Olave got down to another concussion by another division rival. So, great news for that guy. So their receiver room is going to be the issue there. I think the run game is going to be fine. It's just, for me, I think that Atlanta's kind of doing fairly well as of late. This season's very good.
Yeah, obviously they had a huge win last week. Bear in mind it was against the Cowboys there.
It was, but here's the kicker with that. They only won that game by 6, and that was because Dak got himself hurt in the third quarter. So if he hadn't gotten hurt, maybe the score would be different. The Falcons did come away with a win. Like I said, the good teams find a way to do that. But, there are some little caveats and nuances to that victory. So I do think this is going to be tougher than people expect, but for me personally, I am going to go ahead and fly or die with the Falcons, and I'm gonna trust in that for now.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. I'm also taking the Falcons on the road to beat the Saints, and message to Kirk Cousins: don't let us down, please.
Yeah, we have a history with you, buddy. Just please do the thing that I know you can do. All right. So now we've got the 49ers coming off of their bye, and unfortunately going to Tampa, who are battered and bruised and probably mad. So 2 weeks in a row, they lost on the first possession of overtime. So no doubt they're a little bit peeved. But unfortunately for them, McCaffrey's back. And
yeah, that's the big story with the Niners this week.
Yeah, so I think that's definitely going to help out a lot. It's going to take a lot of pressure off of Brock Purdy. He doesn't have to throw all the darn time. It's going to help open up some passing lanes, give him another weapon to throw to with CMC.
True.
So what are we thinking? I'll go ahead and let you take your prediction first, even though I'm pretty sure we are in agreement.
Obviously, it's 100% agree there. I think we're going to go with the Niners on the road to beat the Bucs there. So sorry, Baker Mayfield fans.
Yeah, I think we're going to go with that too. I kind of had this one penned in as a loss from the beginning of the season, just because I was kind of like, I like to future cast like a lot in advance, just to kind of see how I do without really knowing what's going on week to week. And I had this one going to the 49ers at that point, and unfortunately it hasn't changed. The injuries to Tampa certainly helped kind of solidify that, so big unfortunate for them. But now moving on to another fresh off the bye team, we have the Steelers going to Washington.
Yeah. This one's going to be too tough to call there because obviously Steelers are a powerful team there, especially with Russell Wilson now at the helm there. And they recently acquired Mike Williams from the Jets there.
Yeah. Rodgers traded him off for, I think it was a 7th round or something. So the Steelers got a fairly decent receiver for fairly cheap, in my opinion. So that should definitely help them. I will say, I think that their defense is fairly powerful. The offense I'm still kind of shaky with, but I think this is going to be just a really, really tight game. A surprisingly good game, all things considered, because like in week 1 when we were kind of looking at the slate and you see this game, you're like, ugh, great, it's going to be one of these games. But actually it's turning into something that could be pretty entertaining.
Thanks to the Commanders there and their rookie quarterback, Jaden Daniels there.
Freaking Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
I love that. I that should be your thing. Like from now on, anytime you mention Jaden Daniels, you have to say freaking first. It's like Seth freaking Rollins, but freaking Jaden Daniels. Sorry. No, don't be sorry. Yeah. You should totally do that. That should be your thing.
Yeah, obviously because of what he did against the Bears there.
Yeah.
That made me a little upset there. But,
I think that made a lot of people upset, to be fair. I was here for it because it made me happy to see the Bears lose, but at the same time, I had to take an L for that, and I was devastated. But I will be interested to see how he handles TJ Watt getting in his face.
Exactly.
Because there's many different things you can do with that. So
hold up.
Yeah, exactly. So, all of that being said, who do you have? Because I'm going to definitely let you take this one first. Because I have no clue.
Yeah. To me there, I'm going to go with my specialty again there. I keep going too many times with that this week there.
We have so many Steve specials. So many.
Yeah. To me, I'm going to go with the Commanders to beat the Steelers.
All right, so we do not split, actually. I went away from my usual logic here. Normally, I take the bye team. I did that before, and it did not work out very well for me. Thank you, Bears. So I'm going to trust in the Commanders in this one, and freaking Jaden Daniels going to do freaking Jaden Daniels things. And hopefully, hopefully we do well in this pick. I could see it going either way, to be fair. Alright, so next up we have the Vikings and Jacksonville.
Yeah. Obviously, the Vikings came out guns blazing there on Sunday night. They're beating the Colts there.
Yeah, I was
last week
honestly,
there.
hoping that they would like be angrier, like come out, it's a similar performance to Detroit when they, embarrass other teams. I was kind of hoping that Minnesota would do that. Maybe they just don't have that ability. But I am glad that they did get their win. Although, once again, Sam Darnold got his face violated during the game and the refs did nothing. He literally got punched in the face by, I think it was Buckner on the Colts defense. So he got punched in the face, lost the ball. It was a whole thing. It was funny in a way to see, but I don't know. I do think that Sam Darnold is having himself a really good year, and he's going to need that for the next year because I don't think he's going to have a job with the Vikings. I think that they're going to go with J.J. McCarthy next year and just see what happens.
Sure.
So, and then over on the Jacksonville side, I really have nothing really to say about Jacksonville besides what the heck. Although, I mean,
Get ready for 2025.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, they need to definitely prepare for the next year, but also they made it a game against Philadelphia, which I think says more about how weak Philadelphia kind of is, because Philly was dominating in that first half, and then next thing I know, after I tune out of the game, because this is clearly over, it's 28-23. So I don't exactly know what happened, because again, I tuned out, but Jacksonville did make a game of it. So they're not, they're kind of scrappy in their own way. It just doesn't always work out for them.
Yeah. For me, this one's a no-brainer. There, I'm taking the Vikings on the road to beat the Jags.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. Unfortunately, now I could see Jacksonville winning, just because it would be that kind of week. But I'm gonna go ahead and take the Vikings. All right, next we have Tennessee, fresh off their curse-breaking week, going to the Chargers, fresh off of their dominating performance over the Browns.
True. Obviously, I should have trusted the Chargers. They're how wrong I was last week. There, I should have went with the team I picked to go to the Super Bowl. There.
Oh my God, I forgot that you did that. I totally forgot that you did that. What was your NFC team? Was that the Eagles?
Yeah.
Okay, so you took Eagles Chargers for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I completely forgot that you took the Chargers.
True. And obviously they're Titans, as we discussed earlier, coming off a surprising win overtime against the Patriots there.
Yeah, I don't even know how that happened because, unfortunately that wasn't a game that I was like super in tune with because I was kind of losing my mind over other things I was seeing happen. The Falcons game, for example, I was very interested in that one. So I don't know what happened with the Patriots and the Titans. All I know is I'm very happy that the Titans got a win because after they got crushed by Detroit, I was like, I've been where they are. I've seen it. I understand what Titans fans are going through. They need a win. And I should have gone with them. That was like my second regret of the week because I was really, really hopeful. Unfortunately, I don't really have a whole lot of hope this week for them.
No, me neither.
Yeah, so
I'm going to go with the Chargers at home to beat the Titans there. Just put the win under their thing.
Yeah, I'm not going to give them the win right now because any given Sunday, Steve, anything can happen. True. I'm not just going to say that they win.
Who knows? Maybe Mason Rudolph might have another spectacular game there.
Is he still starting?
Yeah.
Oh, well, good for you. I hope so. I like Mason Rudolph. I've always liked Mason Rudolph. I think that he should be the starter there. So, you know what? I hope I'm wrong. But I am in agreement, and I'm taking the Chargers. But I hope that I'm wrong.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, next we have the Cowboys, who are without Dak Prescott, so they're going to have Cooper Rush under center, hosting division rival Eagles. This is not going to be pretty.
Yeah, obviously the Cowboys are a dumpster fire right now. There,
Yeah. Now,
injuries there,
although I will
and
say,
yeah,
Cooper
and
Rush ain't bad.
obviously what happened with Zeke last week getting suspended there for
Oh
missing
yeah,
practice.
yeah. He doesn't apparently like to practice, so he's facing team disciplinary action. And so to
Hmm.
combat that, they went out and got a receiver because that's how we're going to combat losing a running back to suspension.
Yeah,
I don't know what they're doing. I really don't, but
yeah,
I will say that Cooper Rush is not bad. He did very well for them when he had to start all those games when Dak was injured last
true,
time. So I'm not
true,
going to discount the Cowboys in this game.
true. Obviously, with Dak, it might just take 4 weeks for him to recover from it there.
Yeah, it's some kind of hamstring injury. I don't know if it's torn or tweaked or strained or whatever, but he has a hamstring injury. That's all that I personally know. And this is going to be, it's either going to be a really good, surprising game, or it's going to be a very bad game.
It might be an ugly game in my opinion.
Yeah.
Bowling shoe ugly there.
Good old
I should
JR.
say there.
Good old JR. So, with that being the theme, which of these teams do you think is going to get beat like a government mule?
Yeah. I'm going to go with the Eagles on the road to slaughter the Cowboys.
Yeah, I think Dallas might be in a bit of trouble here, so I'm in agreement, and I'm gonna take the Eagles. I don't think it's gonna be government mule level whippings, but I
No,
do think that they're gonna win this one.
true.
Oh, speaking of ugly though, we have the Jets. Whoo, so many things I want to say about this, and they will be going to Arizona to face off
You
with the
want
Cardinals.
you you want to get your rant out of the way for the week?
No, it's fine. I was just because we were on like this wrestling commentary kick. I was gonna pull Jerry Lawler and say that one of these quarterbacks looks like they fell out of an ugly tree and hit every branch on the way down. And then there's also Kyler Murray.
Oh goodness.
I love old wrestling. It was peak wrestling. My God,
True. Yeah.
I had those voice
Obviously,
lines in those video games memorized. It was so good.
yeah. Obviously, Arizona Cardinals, by some miracle, they are playing themselves back in the chase for the NFC West. There,
Top of the
that's the
division.
thing. Hmm.
They are leading. Who would have ever thought
Yeah.
that the Cardinals would be top of their division?
Yeah.
And then we
True.
all know my feelings on the Jets side of things. I'm not going to rehash it. We all know I did a whole 4-minute rant a few weeks ago.
Hmm.
If y'all want
Yeah.
to hear what I said about that, go there. I'm not going to redo it.
So I think we're going to be in agreement this week there, and I'm going to take the Arizona Cardinals at home to beat the Jets.
We are 100% in agreement. This is like, if anybody wants to play around me in pickems, this is the kinds of games you do that with because you know who I'm choosing.
Yeah.
Like, any Jets game, you know where I'm falling on it. The Bears, that's a little bit more sketch because sometimes I'll choose them and then they'll let me down and then I get mad about it. You know for a gosh diggity darn fact, I am not choosing the Jets.
Hmm.
So, yes, we are in agreement.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Sunday Night Football. Unsurprisingly, this should be a pretty good game. We have my Lions going to the Strouds. What say
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. Obviously, the Lions solved the problem with Aiden Hutchinson being out for the rest of the season, acquiring somebody from the Browns there.
Yep, they traded for Zadarius Smith off of
Yeah.
Cleveland. I think that he will be a fairly decent addition. He's not going to, of course, be the replacement to Hutch because it's going to take a lot to replace Hutch. But
True.
he will be
It's
helpful.
like a Band-Aid solution.
Yeah, and not only that, but they're going to have him for the following year as well with what his
Hmm.
contract is. So next year, they're going to have Hutch back. They have Aline McNeil that they signed up. and they're going to have Zadarius Smith.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be so scary on the defense. Unfortunately, they might have a different coordinator by then, because he might be getting a head coaching job somewhere, but that's for the whole future casting down the road. So, for this game, I would be concerned for Houston, who's kind of been struggling a little bit. I mean, you lost to the Jets last week. It was sin number one. And then also the week prior, they didn't exactly look very strong there either. They barely beat the Colts.
Yeah, and in my opinion, they never solved the replacement for Stephon Diggs there themselves there at the deadline there.
Yeah, they didn't really do much of anything. They were pretty quiet in the trades, as far as I am aware. I don't remember them really doing anything. So I think that their receiving core is fine. They have Tank Dell. I think they have their tight end still, I believe, Schultz.
Yep.
So, and then they have Joe Mixon back, who's going to be decent. And Detroit's run defense, from what I recall, isn't amazing. They kind of got ran over a little bit early on during the Packers game, and then before they shored themselves up. So I think that will be an interesting matchup to see how the newly acquired defensive line kind of handles Joe Mixon in the run game of Houston.
Exactly.
Right. But for me, I'm going to choose to be a homer, even though I do like Stroud, and I am going to trust Detroit on the road.
Yeah, 100% agree with you there, because obviously the Texans have no wide receiving game, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I do think that they have potential to have a decent core, but honestly, Detroit's secondary is not horrible. I mean, they do have Kirby Joseph. They're going to have Brian Branch, who didn't get suspended for the hit, just ejected. So, their secondary, they have some good ball hawks, which I think will be pretty fun. So, yeah, we're in agreement with this one, and both taking Detroit. Alright, last game of the week, we have the Dolphins and the Rams.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Obviously, with the Dolphins, Tua's getting better, in my opinion, there, ever since he came back from the concussion issues there. He's doing okay there, but unfortunately, the Dolphins came up short there both times.
Yeah, it feels like their defense is letting them down. Now that their offense is kind of back to clicking again, now their defense can't really seem to do a whole lot. And that might very well hurt them facing a team like the Rams, who had some help, admittedly, against the Seahawks last week. The Seahawks were back-to-back weeks flag game of the week. There's so many penalties for that gosh darn team. I feel bad.
True. And obviously, my advice to Puka Nacua is to behave there the entire game there. I don't want to see him get ejected like he did last week there.
Yeah, don't give me no lines and keep your hands to yourself. Just keep your hands to yourself. That being said, yes, I'm gonna be a little risky here in my opinion, and I'm trusting the Rams at home.
Yeah, and I'm gonna 100% agree with you there, because obviously the Rams need this win there to stay alive in that really tough NFC West there.
Yeah, it's a very, very close division, and it's a good kind of close division. It's not one of those divisions where everybody's bad, so who knows who's going to win it, like we've seen with the South in recent years. So this is going to be a very interesting division, and see how that all wraps up.
Sure. So this week we only have 2 split games there.
We do. It should only be one, but I'm dumb and trusting the spite. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay. Now that's our picks there, it's now time to find out how our friends do with their picks this week.
Indeed it is. So, per the usual, we go by order of who joined us on the verses first. So first up we have John, who basically just went on the gut feeling. So we have the Ravens, Panthers, Bears, Bills, Chiefs for his thirst, Falcons, 49ers, Commanders, Vikings, Chargers, Eagles, Jets, Texans, and Rams. You know what? It's a very interesting slate there. We have many a split, and I don't know how to feel about it. I really don't know how to feel about this, John. I'm terrified. All right. Oh boy. Next we go to SDS, who took the Ravens, who took the Giants, saying that the Carolina Short King gave me a laugh last week. You can go away now. Patriots, the Bucs, saying if I had a nickel for every time we got beat the first possession of overtime this year, I'd have 2 nickels. It's not a lot, but why did it happen twice? He took the Broncos, the Bills, Commanders, Vikings, the Saints, saying Dennis Allen is gone. This ought to spark something. FTF. Chargers, Cardinals, the Eagles, Lions, and Dolphins. So we already have a split with him on the Dolphins. That's the first Dolphin to fall. I am concerned. Alright, next we have Troll.
The bane of my existence.
Yep, here we go again. So first up, we have, I'm calling your bluff, Steve. I'm taking the Bengals.
Oh, right off the bat.
Right off the bat. And then we have the Giants, the Patriots, the Colts, Broncos over Chiefs, his Saints, the Bucs. And then for Washington, let me make sure I got the game right. For Steelers and Commanders, who do you believe in more, Steve?
I went with the Commanders.
All right, cool. I got the Steelers.
Oh my.
And then he went with the Jags, the Titans, the Cowboys for Peps, Cardinals, Texans, and Dolphins.
Yeah.
What a guy. And then we have Buff, who will most likely be putting his picks down in the comments. Once again, yesterday being the day that it was, Tuesday rather, being the day that it was, I kind of disassociated a little. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really talk to anybody. I was in a mood. So,
Other than you and I talked to each other for a brief bit there.
Yeah, per the usual, we always have our little nightly text session for updates and thoughts and stuff. But yeah, outside of that, I was just kind of like doing my own thing, lost my world, trying to forget the world existed for a little while. My bad. But there be that. And then next up, we have Papa Agron, who just said, "Welcome to Upset Week.
Well,
Bengals over Ravens, Panthers over Giants, Patriots over Bears, Bucs over the 49ers, Broncos over the Chiefs, Colts over Bills, Commanders over Steelers, Jags over the Vikings, Saints over Falcons, Titans over Chargers, Jets over the Cardinals, Cowboys over Eagles, Texans over Lions, and the Dolphins and Rams, yeah, they can just tie. So, there we go again. Another tie. Those are always fun. One of these weeks, it's gotta work. It's gotta happen. We're due. I love tie games. They're fun. Alright, next we've got Biggers, who took his Ravens, of course. Took the Giants, the Bills, the Jaguars, the Commanders. I don't have to pick the Steelers. Good for you. The Falcons, Chiefs, 49ers, Bears, Chargers, Eagles, Jets, Lions, and Rams. And then we've got Rev. Ravens, Giants, Bears, Bills, Chiefs, Falcons, 49ers, Commanders, Vikings, his Chargers, the Eagles, Cardinals, Lions, and Dolphins. I'm seeing a mixed bag on Dolphins and Rams, and I'm not happy about it. That game is so sketch to me. Like, I could see it going either way, and the fact that we're so split is scary.
Yeah.
Alright, next we've got Owl, who took the Ravens, Giants, Patriots, Colts, Chiefs, Falcons, 49ers, Commanders, Vikings, Chargers, Eagles, Cardinals, Lions, and once again, Dolphins.
Wow.
Oh man, what a theme. What a freaking theme we have.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, and then rounding us off now, we have Draz. Bengals beat the Ravens in a gut feeling. Giants beat the Panthers. If they win, they can get Dable fired. So kind of the same thought process that I was having.
Mm-hmm.
Bears beat the Patriots. 49ers beat the Bucs. I could see an upset, but probably not.
Mm-hmm.
Chiefs beat Broncos. Bills beat Colts. Commanders beat Steelers with their first big test. Let's hope that they pass. Vikings beat Jaguars. Falcons beat Saints. Chargers beat the Titans. Are the Chargers a playoff team? No.
I hope so.
For Steve's sake, we hope so. Jets beat the Cardinals. Eagles beat Cowboys. I love watching the Cowboys lose. Lions beat Texans because the Lions are the best team in the league. And Rams beat the Dolphins. Biggest question of the week for me. Apparently it's the biggest question of the week for a lot of people because I swear that felt like we were split like dead center down the middle.
Sure.
That was absolutely insane how many people took Rams versus how many people took the Dolphins. That is going to be one heck of a game.
It will be there. Good reason to watch the game on Monday night.
Yeah, I agree. It'll be very, very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, so that is going to go ahead and do it. Thank you, as always, for joining me, Steve, on the podcast here.
Not a problem there.
Yep.
We should remind people, please hit the like and subscribe and turn on the notification bell for all the future videos on here. And obviously a big thank you to all the subscribers on here.
And as always, a huge shout out to the members of Richard, Sandra, George, and Aracellus. Big thank you to you guys for being the members, showing that extra love and support, and also to all the people who have joined Steve and I in the podcast versus format. So we will catch you guys next week for week 11 of more of the NFL action, and hopefully everything goes well.
Yeah, obviously there. Thank you. I'll see you all next week.